Ahmed Bayram, who joins us now from Amman in Jordan. All right, Ahmed, good to see you. I know that you're listening to my interview with Ashraf Shanan, and he talked about how dire the situation was with the hospitals and the medical facilities. With you, I want to talk to you about the humanitarian situation, because pretty much every humanitarian aid organization has warned that the amount of aid that's coming into Gaza is only a fraction, nowhere near enough to support the current needs. We're looking at statements or the intentions of the Israeli Prime Minister in terms of his military operation in Rafah. How dire is the situation now that Rafah is actually facing a full-scale war?
It is a catastrophe in every sense of the word. That is because there are more people displaced in these 20 days than at any other time. Imagine, even by the standards of this brutal conflict. Aid, the lifeline of millions, has been entirely cut by these operations, or mostly cut by these operations. Only a fraction, a couple of dozen trucks here and there, bringing in some fuel. If I talk to you about fuel, it's staggeringly low in terms of the quantities that they arrive, and our teams on the ground are telling us that. The 1 liter of fuel now sells for $25 on the side of the road. Water situation is also so bad that people are now consuming anything drinkable, whether safe or not. The same for 500,000 people who have been left homeless. And, when we say homeless, it means that they are sleeping in the open, including children sleeping on piles of sand. So in short, it is a catastrophe, and I don't know what else is this going to take for the world to wake up really to the suffering of the people in Gaza.
But tell me this, Ashraf said that if Gazans don't die as a result of the attacks that are being conducted against them, they could very well die because of the inadequate situation of the health facilities. Is this statement applicable, and how true is it when it comes to aid?
Absolutely. I was speaking to our colleagues, the NRC colleagues on the ground on Thursday, and they described how the heat and humidity is going to make infections go worse, disease travel faster, spread faster among, probably one of the most overpopulated areas in the world, in Khan Yunis and Al-Mawasi. Of course, the shortage in medical assistance, in medical devices, in medicine, in food, in water, in safe water. It's all going to create a perfect storm for disease and for death by other means as well. We have already seen, of course, reports, not to mention, of the hunger that is killing people and killing children in Gaza. Obviously, with the collapse, almost total collapse of the aid system on the ground because of the blockade imposed by Israel, the situation is only going to get worse. So yes, it is, displacement, disease, and of course death. The three, D's of this conflict that Israel is now creating.
Ahmed, I want to talk to you about the scope of this disaster. You mentioned the lack of fuel, and you also alluded to the increased heat and the humidity and the problems that it's causing. I'm wondering if you could talk to us about sort of the potential in the spread, the rapid spread of water and airborne diseases, not to mention, obviously, with the lack of proper sanitation.
Yes, of course, our teams are reporting disease is at a worrying level, and I think what is more dangerous and more worrying here is that it almost goes unnoticed. If you are sick or ill or infectious, it's there are more pressing issues because people are dying, and your house has got bombed, or you have been displaced, or there's a life to save here and there, and hospitals are overwhelmed. So these things that we know, we in any country, in any other place in the world, we would probably, be talking about a crisis, almost go unnoticed in terms of disease, in terms of, shortage of fuel, shortage of water. I mean, we're talking about $800 for a price of a tent, and if you had if you had the money, all the money in the world, you can't pay it in cash because you don't have cash in your hands. So it's a mountain of challenges that people have to climb every day, and things get deprioritized because you can only prioritize what is threatening your life at the moment, and that is the bombings, that is the life-threatening injuries, the wounds, and of course the children. So really, I think the situation now, 7 months or 8 months later, uh, has to wake up, has to wake the world up really into action, and has to spur Israel's allies into action. Diplomacy hasn't played enough role, and we need the UN Security Council to enforce all the rules and prevent Israel from taking further action in Rafah.
Right. Ahmed Bayram, thanks for joining us here on the News Hour. I do appreciate it.